Good morning, children. How are you? Hope you are all doing well. Okay, again, I am in front of you with a new lesson. So, children, please be attentive and listen the lesson well. Okay, don't forget to complete the assignments. Please be studious. So, children, up to now we have completed 3 lessons. So, we are going with the 4th lesson. So, that lesson name is Human Eye and Colorful World. In the part A, I'm going to teach today virtually. Please be attentive and listen each and everything very attentively. Okay, now? So, children, in the previous lesson, we have studied the refraction of light by lenses. That means we have studied both convex and concave lenses and the optical instruments such as cameras, microscopes, telescopes, film projectors, spectacles, etc. work on the refraction of light through various types of artificial lenses. Here the artificial lenses are nothing but man-made lenses, that too made up of a transparent glass. The human eye works on the refraction of light through a natural convex lens made up of a transparent living material which enables us to see the things around us. And our eye is the most important optical instrument which is gifted to us by the God. So without eye, all other optical instruments what we use would have a no value at all. I hope you have understood. And not only that, we have studied in the previous chapter that the focal length of the lens and the object distance, how to determine the nature, position and size of the image formed at various object distances. This also we have learned in the last lesson. Along with that, you have studied in your ninth standard biology the structure of a human eye, how the human eye functions on the principle of sensation of a vision, and how to see the objects because the light scattered from them falls on the eye and the eye has a lens in its structure. This is all you have learned in your ninth standard biology. I hope you remember those all. Okay, in this lesson, we are going to learn how the lens of an eye function, how it helps us to see the objects which are at a long distance as well as a short distance, how to get an image at various distances when you see the object on the retina, or all the objects what we are seeing in front of our eye can be formed on the retina and can we see it clearly, and how do the lenses used in the spectacles correct the defects of vision. These are the things we have to study in this lesson. So children, the main parts of a human eye are like cornea, iris, pupil, ciliary muscles, eye lens, retina, optic nerve. The eyeball is approximately spherical in shape, having a diameter of 2.5 centimeter. Children, please be attentive and listen everything. So, just a recap of the construction of eye, whatever the parts I have told before, just a recap of that we'll do once again. The front part of the eye is called a cornea and it is made up of a transparent substance and it is bulging outwards. Okay, one more point you have to remember. The outer surface of a cornea is convex in shape. Okay. Next one is iris is a flat colored ring-shaped membrane behind the cornea. Okay, and it has a hole in middle of the iris which is called the pupil of the eye. Okay, the pupil is the hole in the middle of the iris. And one more point you have to remember, the pupil appears black because no light is reflected from it. And one more part is the con convex lens, whatever the lens we have in our eye is a convex lens. We call it as an eye lens, which is made up of a transparent, soft and flexible material like a jelly made up of proteins. Okay, and eye lens can change its shape, means it can become thick or thin to focus the light onto the retina. Okay, and one more point you have to remember that The ciliary muscles which are attached to the eyelids can change the thickness of the eyelids while focusing. And you have to remember that the focal length of eyelids or the converging power. Here you have to remember whatever the lens we have is convex lens. So it converges the light rays falls on it. And one more point you have to remember the relation between focal length and power is both are inversely related. Already I have dealt in the last lesson. Okay. Now just I'll continue this. The focal length of a convex lens used in camera is fixed and cannot be changed, but the focal length of the convex lens, what we have inside our eye, can be changed by the action of our ciliary muscles. Okay, the screen on which the image is formed in the eye is called retina. The retina is behind the eye lens and at the back part of the eye. This retina of an eye is just like a film in a camera. And one more point you have to remember, the retina is a delicate membrane having a large number of light sensitive cells called rods and cones, which are response to the intensity of light and color of the object. In detail, I am going to explain the next coming part of the lesson. Okay, and one more point is a blind spot is a small area of a retina which is insensitive to the light where the optic nerve leaves the eye. And one more is that the eyelid is open, light can enter the eye. But when eyelid is closed, no light can enter the eye. Okay, this point also you have to remember. Okay, and one more point you have to note down. Eyelid in front of eye, which is just like a shutter in a camera. Now here, please be attentive and listen. I already told that the iris controls the amount of light entering the eyes. That means the iris automatically adjusts the size of the pupil according to the intensity of light received by the eye. If the amount of light received by the eye is large, that means during a daytime, the iris contracts the pupil, makes the pupil small, okay, and reduces the amount of light entering the eye. On the other hand, if the amount of light received by eye is small, that means during night time, the iris expands. That means which makes the pupil large so that more light may enter into the eyes. You have to remember here that the iris regulates or controls the amount of light entering the eye by changing the size of the pupil. Okay, the iris makes the pupil expand or contract according to the intensity of light around the eye. If the intensity of the light outside is low, the pupil expands to allow more light to enter into the eye. On the other hand, if the outside intensity of light is high, then the pupil contracts so that the less light enters into the eye. And you have to remember it takes some time for the size of the pupil to adjust. Children, listen carefully here. The eye consists of a convex lens which is called as the eye lens and a screen called retina. The eye lens forms a real image of objects on the retina of the eye and we can see the whatever the object we are seeing there. And one more thing you have to remember, when the image forms on the retina, then the light sensitive cells which are present on the retina gets activated and they generate electrical signals. Okay, the retina sends these electrical signals to the brain through optic nerve and gives rise to the sensation of vision, whatever we see the object in front of us. Okay, the image from the retina is inverted actually, but our mind interprets the image as that of a erect object. Okay, keep this in the mind, children. Coming to the persistence of vision, the continuation of sensation of eye for some time is called persistence of vision. Here, uh, whatever you see, it stays in our eye 1 by 16th of a second. Okay, so whatever the object you see, it stays in the mind for 1 by 16th of a second. This property of persistence of vision, which is used in cinematography, Okay, where you can see the motion pictures, whatever you're seeing in the cinema halls. This concept is used there. Now coming to the rod-shaped cells present in the retina which are sensitive to dim light. Okay, next coming to cones. The cone-shaped cells present in the retina which are sensitive to bright light. These cells cause sensation of colors of light in our eyes. And you have to remember that the cones do not function in dim light. So in the dark light, we cannot identify the colors also because of this property of the cones. So coming to the least distance of distant vision, you have to remember like this. It is the least distance at which a person can see an object comfortably and distinctly. That means here, if a person can read a text at a particular distance clearly, without any blur of the text, whatever he is reading, that particular distance where he can see the text while he is reading, that is called as the least distance of distant vision. Okay, very clearly without straining his eyes. This point you have to remember, ma. And this least distance of a distant vision for average human eye is 25 centimeter, but this least distance of distant vision varies from person to person as well as with age also. At the age means below 10 years, or you can call it an engage. Okay, the muscles around the eye are strong and flexible and which can bear more strain. Therefore, at engage, the least distance of distant vision is as close as 7 to 8 centimeter only, whereas in old age the muscles cannot sustain more strain. Hence, the least distance of distant vision shifts to a larger value, about 1 to 2 meter or even more also. So coming to angle of vision, the maximum angle at which we are able to see the whole object is called the angle of vision. The angle of vision for a healthy human being is around 60 degrees. It varies from person to person. Not only that, with age also. Similar to your least distance of distant vision, children. Children, please be attentive and listen everything. Uh, Power of accommodation. And these are the points where you have to remember when we are dealing with the defects of the eye. That is the reason, please be attentive. A normal eye can see the distant object and the near objects clearly. The rays of a light coming from a distant object are parallel to one another when they reach the eye. Actually, the rays of light given out by distant objects are diverging in the beginning, but they become parallel when they reach the eye after traveling a large distance. So the parallel rays of light coming from a distant object need a convex lens of a low converging power to converge them or focus them to form an image on the retina. So here the convex lens of a low converging power is the one which is having a larger focal length. So that means the lens curvature becomes different and the lens becomes thin here. Now coming to the other case, the rays of light coming from a nearby object are diverging. Okay, when they reach the eye, the diverging rays coming from a nearby object need a convex lens of high converging power to converge them or focus them to form an image on the retina of the eye. The convex eye lens of a high converging power is the one which is having a shorter focal length, and it is nothing but the lens become thick. So already I told you we have a relation, how converging power and focal length, we know the relation. Keep that in the mind. Okay. These points are very important for next part of the lesson. An eye lens can focus the image of the distant objects as well as the near objects on its retina by changing the focal length of the lens. I told that how it become thick and how it become thin also. Okay. The focal length of the eye lens is changed by the action of ciliary muscles. This point also I have completed. So what is accommodation? Just listen. The eye can focus the images of a distant object as well as near objects on its retina by changing the focal length or a converging power. To change the focal length means it has to change its curvature by making the lens thin or thick according to the position of the objects here. So when to see the nearby objects, it should have a short focal length. Thereby, the lens become thick. Indirectly, the curvature of a lens also changes. Okay. And one more point is to see the distant object. It has a long focal length. That means the lens become thin there. So these 2 points you have to remember. Okay. And this all happened by the action of ciliary muscles, changing the thickness of the eye lens. Okay. Indirectly changing the converging power of the eye lens. Children, please be attentive here. The far point is nothing but when the object is at distant. Near point is nothing but when the object is nearby. So when the eye is looking at a distant object, that means at infinity, then the ciliary muscles of the eye are fully relaxed. Okay. Then the curvature of eye lens become thin, which is having a large focal length and low converging power or a small converging power. The small converging power of a thin eye lens is sufficient to converge the parallel rays of light coming from a distant object. Already I told that. To form an image on the retina of the eye. This state is called the relaxed state of an eye when object is at distance. So when the same eye has to look to nearby object means the ciliary muscles of the eyes are contract. That means here it becomes thick eye lens which is having small focal length but the converging power is large here. Okay, the thick eye lens can converge the diverging rays which are coming from the nearby object to form an image on the retina of the eye. Now, once again, you have to remember what is that? The ability of a eye lens to change its focal length is called the accommodation of the lens. To see the nearby objects as well as far off objects. And one more point here you have to remember, when the object is at infinity, their f maximum will be 2.5 centimeter. When the object is at nearby, okay, the f minimum is 2.27. Already I told you, large focal length to see the distant object and small focal length to see the near object. You have to remember this. F maximum and F minimum is F maximum is 2.5 centimeter. F minimum is 2.27 centimeter. The ability of eye to focus a distant object as well as a near object on the retina by changing the focal length of its lens is accommodation. Here you have to remember the range. The range of vision of a normal human eye is from infinity to about 25 centimeter. When you come to the far point, the farthest point from eye at which an object can be seen clearly is known as far point of the eye. Okay, the far point of the eye of a normal human eye is at infinity. We can call that the far point of a normal human eye is at a very large distance. Okay, when you come to the near point, the nearest point up to which the eye can see an object clearly without any strain is called the near point of the eye. The near point of a normal human eye is at a distance of 25 centimeters from the eye. So children, thank you for today.